Hey, welcome to the channel. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Hey, we got breaking news for you guys. Y'all new to the channel? You rocking with Young Dolph? I want y'all to throw them Dolphins down in the comment section because look at what happened to them. They ran up on the stage and they snatched Blac Youngsta. I want everybody to know the face of CMG is not Yo Gotti because it's Moneybagg Yo. Moneybagg Yo made the most money within the last 5 years than Yo Gotti, and Jay-Z can vouch for that. MPD, the police guy that was standing in the front, the light-skinned dude who was right there watching them escort Young Dolph to the ambulance. He is the main one who stated that they rode past twice. And when I say they, straight drop Cornelius Smith, and you have to understand, they said Big Moochie Grape, he rolled past one time, and Big Juke was right behind straight drop. I want y'all to really pay attention to what's going on because it's sad that they even had to hop out that car and run down on him like that. They got Young Dolph like in the way that a person to do if they sat there and watched that man for weeks. If you sit there and watch somebody for weeks and months, you'll be able to get the drop without people even dropping the location. And people will sit right there and look at it like, hold on, this was like, it was strategically did. That's why they said Big Juke, the money that he put up, this money had to count. Key Glock detached itself from Blac Youngsta for a reason. They was hanging around with each other for a while. And people don't really pay attention to this, man. We all know for a fact that it's sad that this type of stuff have to happen, but in all actual reality, people was walking around with their shirts off, man. They had their shirt off, man, so they identified the man. Where's the rest of the footage? And this is what everybody in PRE is saying. Castelia Apartments, everybody that Young Dolph took care of in there, them people looking at it like, hold on, man. Bring Dolph back, man. Bring Dolph back. And I want to give a moment of silence for Young Dolph, man, because this is sad, man. In all actual reality, throw them PREs down in the comment section. They put Yo Gotti up on the chopping block because now when they do go to court, who you think Big Juke gonna say gave him the money to basically fund the beef between Yo Gotti and Young Dolph, which is his brother? I want y'all to really look at this. And Marcus Thorne, he's one of the testifying witnesses who's going back and forth to court basically to get justice for Young Dolph. A lot of people who was in Young Dolph's corner when he had the money and he was still here with us, they're not around. It's only 4 people that show up to court every time it's a hearing. Blac Youngsta made a lot of decisions which led the whole CMG being indicted. And when I say indicted, don't look at it as far as they already locked up. No, they're indicted as far as on the case of what happened to Young Dolph when he got sent up at Cookie Shop. I want everybody to look at what's going on because Big Juke, he's in the middle of all of it because he was the one who dispensed all of the money. They lined them boys up like ducks and they caught every last one of them. Y'all got to look at the CMG Rico indictment. It's like 13 people involved in that. Everybody name up in the docket. And I know for a fact that when you going against the defendant, whoever the plaintiff is, which is like Young Dolph and his whole communion, his whole family, his whole establishment, his girl, like we got to really pay attention to this, man. We got to send our condolences to his whole establishment, man. At the end of the day, I want y'all to really look at it. Hit the like button if you rocking with the content. If you rocking with the channel, let me know about it. When they ran in Makitas, everybody already knew for a fact that it was going down and it was finna be over with because they had the Drake already out when they was hopping out the car, running to the door. Everybody sat there and saw that glass on the ground. And people sit there and said, like, why was he even sitting right there? Like like leaning out the window. He was leaning out the window so that he can get a better aim, man. I want y'all to know that the first 2 shots that came from out that white car that went into that door, that was the first 2 shots that went right past Marcus Thornton. And from what everybody not talking about, people need to realize that Marcus Thornton, he got grazed, man. He got grazed by one of the shells, man, and the other one hit Young Dolph, man. I want y'all to really look at it. It was a lot of things moved in Makeda's, moved around. They didn't want to tell people that they took stuff out to the back and put it in the car. I want y'all to understand they had to leave with some of that stuff in there because they said that it was a struggle when all this went down. Like, really? It was a struggle? I want y'all to really look at it, man. And we all know for a fact that if we in the streets and we real life going places, trusting people, like everybody is not trustworthy, man, at the end of the day. And I know a lot of people get lined up because they trust certain people. You have to really be cautious about the people you keep around and the company you keep. I want y'all to understand that is not a person telling y'all do this, do that. No, it's just awareness. Raven, Nano One, Trigger Trey, and Trula Mafia, they've been quiet for a long time. And everybody know for a fact, only person that's gonna go quiet is the people who had something to do with whatever thing happened. I want y'all to understand this is something that we need to realize and open our eyes to the fact that this is a revolving door and this could have happened to anybody. We know for a fact that everybody who ran up in that cookie shop, they knew the people in the cookie shop already was waiting on them to even run up in there. I want y'all to really look at this because this is something that could have happened to Key Glock or a Big Moochie Grape. Like at any day before that happened to Dolph. They knew when Young Dolph got off that plane. They knew Young Dolph was real live, riding around the city by himself. Only people who knew that he was by himself was Big Moochie Grape, Key Glock, and you gotta understand Big Jook. They already got informants working in PRE that basically let them know every move that they make. I want y'all to really look at this and take heed to this. If you're new to the channel, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, turn on the post notifications, and share this video. Young Dolph, I think one thing that he made a mistake by doing was going publicly and basically saying how he made it to the top by himself when he know for a fact that the questions they was asking him was to start the beef between Yo Gotti and PRE. Yo Gotti, he already knew for a fact that Young Dolph wouldn't go out there and say that he didn't help him at all. He didn't even give him a footstool to get where he at. When we know for a fact, in all actual reality, Young Dolph was opening up for Yo Gotti. Yo Gotti changed his whole label from Cocaine Music into, you feel me, CMG. You feel me? Without the cocaine. You feel me? Creative Music Group. I want y'all to really look at this because Young Dolph, he knew Key Glock was going to take his side regardless if he right or wrong. The 2 people who got shot up in Yo Gotti's restaurant when they were just attending right after they paid $100 for steaks, I want you guys to really pay attention to it because these people's parents are pressing charges due to the fact that this happened inside the restaurants, which makes the restaurant liable for everything that went on inside of it. If it would have happened off the premises, in the parking lot, or on the side in the back, then the parents cannot file legal or basically pursue with legal documents. They can't press forward for it. Like, I want y'all to really pay attention to it. I don't know if I said it right, but at the same time, they can't proceed with the whole process because we know for a fact if it happened off the premises, it's not gonna be nobody liable for what happened. So this could have been a hit and run, this could have been a drive bash or anything. So I want to let you guys know that it's sad that this had to come to this because too many people got lost behind this. And I know Yo Gotti, he's the main one sitting back with Angela Simmons, and basically they doing their thing. They still making their music, they still promoting their shows. I want you to know, when you own a label, the people under you, they're your protection, and you can't be out there on the foreground doing nothing because you have a whole company that's in stake. Angela Simmons told Yo Gotti, you need to keep Moneybagg Yo and Blac Youngsta as far away from our family as possible, because we know for a fact that them would be the ones who get Yo Gotti took down in this whole case. Blac Youngsta was a store runner before he became the assistant of CMG, and Finesse 2 Times didn't want to make it obvious that he was against the whole fact that Moneybagg Yo was the one that had a part in everything that went on with Young Dolph. And I know it hurted a lot of people, at least 2 or 3 people out of CMG, to see Finesse 2 Times. He kind of fell back, and as you can see when he do his shows, Moneybagg Yo don't be around no more. And I want everybody to really pay attention. Young Dolph, the people that sent him up, like them the same ones who said that his brother was supposed to get sent up too. His brother wasn't supposed to survive that. And I know a lot of people gonna sit back and look at it like, straight drop, he was caught in Indiana. What made him go to Indiana? He's a part of CMG. Young Dolph, he had Yo Gotti, Blac Youngsta lawyer, CMG ties to straight drop. Like, we all know this, and Young Dolph accused shooters like them, the main ones who basically made a music video instead of basically sitting back in real life getting up at that jam. And this is allegedly, you guys. I want you guys to really pay attention to it, because it was another warrant issue. Like, y'all gotta really look at that. Once they issued that warrant, Big Jit got locked up. Yo Gotti, he stated right before Big Jit got locked up, Big Jit told Yo Gotti, like, this only falling back on us is because Blac Youngsta made the diss song to Young Dolph, went to the site, he went over the, come on now, man, you don't do that. And it's a whole year and a half later, and now Big Jit, Yo Gotti, everybody that was involved in this, they send back looking at everybody in PRE like, man, did y'all snitch on us? Did y'all tell? We supposed to have kept this in the streets. And I know for a fact people gonna sit back and look at it like, okay, y'all could keep it in the street, but in all actual reality, we know for a fact y'all sucked up somebody who was real life in the streets, and y'all went around running y'all mouth making diss songs and all this. So in all actual reality, we know for a fact that they brought it upon themselves, and birds of a feather flock together. That's why Blac Youngsta didn't want to sign a contract to renew his whole deal with Yo Gotti. Yo Gotti offered him $4.8 million. So I'm starting to think, did Blac Youngsta basically open his mouth to somebody in heavy camp to even get this information out there? I know it's internal beef go on in the hood every day, but you can't put yourself out there as far as you gonna tell on something that happened that you know could take down everybody. Man, y'all gotta be cautious when you hanging with these people who don't know the street code, and a lot of them go by the street code, but they don't live by it. They go by it every now and then, but they don't live by it. And this why I always say, PRE, they laying low key. Big Moochie Grape, he locked up right now, but everybody know for a fact his bond, $17,000. That's the bond. Like, it's $170,000 if he want to just get it all out the way, but for him to be able to walk, it's $17,000. So I want y'all to really look at this, because almost all the muscle gone from PRE. Only people still walking around is Key Glock.
And make sure you show the support. If you actually rocking with Dolph, put the Dolph emojis in the chat, in the comment section. Let us know where you from, if you're a fan of him, and show your support, because the cookie shop, T-Mobile got them phone records, so you already know that they linked him. That's why he was Shondale's getaway driver. It's because somebody had to tell him that, and he trying to have Blac Youngsta's back, so he played his role. And when the feds accidentally let him go because of the testimony from Cornelia Smith saying it was Straight Drop that did it, they ran it on the news with the ticker tape and everything. Newspapers was printing out, they was passing it out saying Straight Drop did it, Straight Drop did it. But in actual reality, Shondale was on the run halfway to Mexico by that time. So how do you know that he didn't have no part to do in it when they saw him in the back seat as the third person in the getaway car? That two-door is unrecognizable. So the fact that when they seen exactly that seat had to go forward, so somebody was back there. And that's when they found the glove, the mask, and everything, and it was 3 of everything. So when there's 3 of everything, you can't only say it was 2 that got caught.
He instantly sat in the cut across the street by the woods in the empty field. He sat back there and he watched. He said, hold on. I was about to go in the cookie shop, but let me just pull over here and see what's finna happen. Because everybody already got the text, man. They text at least 14 people and said that it's finna go down now because this was a big event. We already know that.
Exactly. And so once the thing is that when Snoop Bands was at the barbershop and everything, they interviewed the fans went right to the barbershop because that's the last person Dolph called. So when they went to the barbershop, he didn't want to lose his license, so he told them exactly what happened. That's how they found the footage and got him to release it of Snoop Bands in the salon chair, declining the calls and taking the Snapchat of him with the chain and with the PRE chain and with the guy behind him cutting his hair. But the thing is that Memphis is a small town because a lot of people say it's a small town, but it's because it's a close-knit community.
It was the people who was following him, and we all know for a fact that this is something that the examiner's report is stating that Young Dolph fingerprints was on the door handle of Makita's Raven's store. You have to really look at what's really going on because the excruciating evidence in this case really leads back to CMG. And we all know for a fact that it's very sad that this had to happen. But we all know CMG, they had a verbal dispute between Young Dolph.
And when Yo Gotti's brother told, that is just a problem with Yo Gotti. If he has snakes to cut out of his whole organization in the grass, then that is his own issues. He should have never put his brother into the position to where he saw so much to where if they asked him questions and gave him 80 years on the book, that he was going to rattle and tattletale. And that is no surprise because he's never dealt with that before. So when Yo Gotti goes back to Memphis and sees him, he cannot be around him because of the fact that he was talking to them already.
We know that Yo Gotti, he was the main one who put up the money. And this is something that we all can take full accountability and really look at. Everybody that was there, they know what happened.
Exactly. And so how could he go and have a change of clothes ready in the laundromat if they saying that he wasn't there? Then who put the clothes in there? Because last time everybody checked and they saw that Maurice is a grown man, so he does his own laundry and everything like that. So the fact that he had to have been the one that put his clothes in the laundromat, which means that he was there before Dolph, allegedly. Now everything else is coming back to saying the fact that if he was running out of there and on the phone already, then they should have the time when everything was made. But just because the laundromat doesn't have cameras because they're a coin-operated business doesn't mean that what the witnesses saw from the church's chicken isn't true. The dude had on glasses, so they try to throw him out the case and say that he had glasses, he couldn't have seen what happened. But he explained it detail for detail as it showed in the footage that they told the sources to.
And we all know for a fact that the cameras from the laundromat, it pointed towards the tax place. And we know for a fact that the tax place was boarded up the whole time. But we know for a fact, Young Dolph, he parked on the edge of where the tax place is. So the camera only saw part of his car. So that's why I said the footage is very vital in this case. Like, at the end of the day, we know for a fact that it's too many people who saw Maurice go in and then we saw him change his clothes and come out. Like, Maurice shouldn't have did that. That kind of put folks on the map. That put Maurice in the jam because Maurice's name was mentioned because they saw him do what he did on that footage.
And that's why the people who own the cookie shop and everything, they part owners. They didn't like the fact that Dolph had a lot of say in what went on because he knew the people that worked at the laundromat and stuff like that. So if he owned the tax place, he pulled up in his C8 Corvette and walked into the tax place. The boarded up windows could have been a wrap on the windows, or that he knew the fact that people was gonna actually come and try to spray down the windows like they did the cookie shop. It's a side door connecting the tax place and the cookie shop. That could be how he got in from there into the cookie shop, if they knocked on the door to ask him if he wanted to place an order.
And we know, in all actual reality, like, I ain't gonna sugarcoat it, but from what Mia J said, she said Young Dolph owned the tax place. And we all know for a fact that the only reason he had it boarded up because he was about to do a grand opening for the tax place, which is between Makita's Raven and the laundromat. So we all know for a fact that Blac Young Dolph going inside of the tax place before he went in Makita's, this goes to show that they followed him, they watched him. That's why the white car was parked back at the back of the whole parking lot. Like, in all actual reality, we know for a fact they pulled from the other entrance. The other entrance shows from what the camera panned this way, and it showed the white Mercedes pull up. It showed Big Juke already sitting right there.
And the fact that, okay, so once they had seen him, when they pulled up and seen Big Juke down the road flashing the brights in the Bentley, saying, okay, yeah, you at the right tax place, because what you got to understand is that the tax place did not open at that time due to the fact that it wasn't tax season yet. That's why it's boarded up. So when the dudes in the white vans looked at the GPS, it says it's a temporarily closed thing. That's what happens when it's out of season. So they didn't know if it was the right place. So they said on the walkie-talkie, flash the brights in the Bentley if we at the right entrance. Boom, that happens, right? They get out. The only reason Dolph is there is because if you really binge watch all the videos and look closely, you will see that Dolph did not park in front of the cookie shop. He parked in front of the tax place because he owns the 4 spaces that's in there, because he's not gonna go and rent the community center out when he has his own 4 parking spaces to do the turkey drive and the backpack drive. That was the whole point of him coming back to Memphis, was him to do the turkey drive. He was gonna do the turkey drive in front of the tax place, which just happened to be sandwiched in between Makita's and the restaurant. Key Glock and them was supposed to pull up and help set up the booth in the canopy for the music video, because the same guy, the graphic designer guy that did the album and everything, he got to come and set his computers up for the music video and the cameras up and everything. So once he got there, they just happened to get there too quick because somebody already dropped the low, and that's the problem with this whole thing that everybody's trying to figure out.
That's why Snoop Band stayed at the barbershop. Snoop Band said, like, hold on. Everybody word around Memphis, they already sent the APB out. They already said, like, yeah, they up here for Dolph. Like, this is why Raven looked and she said, like, I want them. This is why 901 Trick or Treat. But we know for a fact that Keosha, she came back. She FaceTimed Key Glock. She told him she's done hiding. She's ready to talk. So, in all actual reality, this is something that, like, I'm glad they even exposed this, because this is something that we all know for a fact that we can really look at and be like, okay, at least she came forward and basically gave a proper statement stating what happened. She said she saw 4 black cars. She saw 4 people in the car. It was 3 people that hopped out the side door. Once they hopped out the side door, you have to understand, she ID'd blickies in their hand. Once she ID'd the blicky, she heard the 100 shots at Makita's. And this is a separate 100 shots from California. Like, y'all gotta understand, Young Dolph last situation, when you heard the 100 shots, this is a whole different, totally thing that happened. And in all actual reality, we know for a fact that it's sad that this had to happen, but Keosha, I'm glad she came forward, but Makita Raven, she was the main one who told everybody, don't be alarmed, because only CMG getting Rico'd, not Makita's.
Exactly, and after Charleston White talked to Keosha and got her to go down to identify the fact that Maurice's Lincoln pulled up first, that's when everything was clear. And now we get into justice for Dolph, because at the end of the day, everything that happened in the dark when they turned the lights off at the cookie shop is going to come into the light, basically, and is going to be turned back on. And they did cut the lights actually at the Makita's cookie shop. That's why they had to move downtown. So once Keosha came and actually spoke up, they knew, okay, that place, we can't have that be there no more, because of the fact that it's too much of a 100% chance of retaliation over there.
It's too hot. Makita's Raven, they whole shop hot. 901 Trigger Trey, he keep parking in the front, right there by the door. Y'all gotta really look at what's going on, because MPD, they looking at it like, why is 901 Trigger Trey and him and all his homies study pulling up like that? And then by them sitting right there, it's making the spot hot. I always tell y'all, do not do business where you work. You have to really look at what's going on, because Maurice already said he only pulled up because Raven called him. And once Raven called him, he hopped right in the car. He ain't even put on the clothes that he said he was gonna put on for that day. He ain't put on no work clothes. He ain't put on his street clothes. He just threw on something. Once Maurice instantly hopped out the bed, hopped in the car, he pulled to Makita's in less than 5 minutes. And I know that's very quick for a person to pull somewhere to any convenience store, even a gas station, within less than 5 minutes. I know that it was traffic, and Airways is a busy boulevard. Nobody's got dropped. Nobody got sent up. So with that being said, I want everybody to really look at the people who was at the cookie shop. The cookie shop people, they know what happened.
You have to get the justice for Dolph. You have to make sure to basically make it to where everybody understands that you got to be a subscriber. You got to make sure you subscribe. And the day one subscribers know that they binge watched all the videos. They understand the whole story and why the Rico is actually something that everybody is scared of and looking at, because they just did it to YSL. He only gets a lineup, so how could he be gone for 2 hours when it only takes 15 minutes to do the lineup? He filmed the whole thing on live while Dolph was trying to call him. And that's why this whole big event, when they interviewed Big Moochie Grape about it, he even said, we just came back from doing the music video, we're supposed to do another one. But when the lady actually got into the meat and potatoes, into a conversation, dude started looking at his way out, like he tried to signal to his manager to cut the tape, because it was too much. It was the questions that he already actually got asked about the marshals and everything when they was looking for straight drop, because he went to school with him.
And we know for a fact that it's sad that it had to happen, but Big Moochie Grape, he pleaded his guilty. You feel me? He pleaded his innocence, because he know for a fact that he know it's some guilt in what Snoop Bands did. If Snoop Bands would have never declined that call, and Snoop Bands would have just shot over there to Dolph, the same person who signed him, the same person is the reason why he able to pay the females. And when he picked Shorty and them up from Memphis, y'all gotta understand, the females look decent in Memphis, but we all know for a fact that it's a lot of people sitting back looking at CMG like, hold on, these the same people who ran up on Dolph, but True Mafia is right up under they little thing. You feel me? At the end of the day, we know for a fact everybody who played a role in this, they the main ones who sit back and look at it like, yeah, Blac Youngsta, he tried to be low key until Dolph got sent up, but we all know for a fact that he already put in a word. That's why he went to the tombstone at the end.
Exactly. And when Cricket breaking news, man. So when Cricket subpoenaed the actual conversation from Snoop Bands, he pled the fourth because he didn't want to have them search anything. He pled the fifth too because he didn't want to say nothing, but he pled the fourth because he didn't want no searches. And so what happened is that's when they came and got the whole indictment to get everything, and they found out. They asked everybody, why does everybody have Blac Youngsta's number? It makes no sense. It's because that puts them into a situation where anybody can't be trusted, and that goes to show, because that's the way the rules are in everyday situations where you can't trust anybody anyways, because they might have the number of the person who already did something to you, whether or not they went to school.
It was the people who was following him, and we all know for a fact that.
And when the feds accidentally let him go because of the testimony from Cornelia Smith saying it was Straight Drop that did it, they ran it on the news with the ticker tape and everything. Newspapers was printing out, they was passing it out saying Straight Drop did it, Straight Drop did it. But in actual reality, Shondell was on the run halfway to Mexico by that time. So how do you know that he didn't have no part to do in it when they saw him in the back seat as the third person in the getaway car? That two-door is unrecognizable. So the fact that when they seen exactly that seat had to go forward, so somebody was back there, and that's when they found the glove, the mask, and everything, and it was 3 of everything. So when there's 3 of everything, you can't only say it was 2 that got caught. Dolph walked into the tax place, not the cookie shop, because he said in his freestyle his CPA did $1 million. That's a clue right there that
Blac Youngsta is involved in a lot that's going on. Before we even jump into this, you can look at this for what it is. Blac Youngsta was the main name who popped up in the indictment. But if you're new to the channel, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and then we're going to jump right into this. I want everybody to look at this, man. The feds is stating that the way that Blac Youngsta face was on the camera, you have to understand that if the camera pan and zoom, regardless of what angle that is pointed at, just like the investigators say, it's going to get a full description of everybody that was there. And everybody who was there fit the description of Blac Youngsta, Cornelia Smith, Straight Drop. And they already got Big Jip truck, which is supposedly Moneybagg Yo's baby mama's truck.
Exactly. And when they searched up Blac Youngsta's name, the facial recognition instantly linked his profile from the 100 shots. And that's how they knew it was the same person, because there's not 2 Blac Youngstas, there's only 1 Blac Youngsta. And when you really look at it, since he left CMG, he walked on his own. Nobody had to fire him because there was already pressure applied to get him released. But when he walked on his own, he went back to Heavy Camp. Folks did their own research on Heavy Camp and found out Blac Youngsta's the only person in Heavy Camp. And so it make no sense. That's why we already knew that the only reason he would put the Heavy Camp chains back on, even though Heavy Camp don't have a CEO, the only reason he would put the chains back on is if he was already hiding from the CMG indictments.
And we know for a fact that from what they said, Memphis, Airways, Hollins, Hollywood Boulevard, y'all really got to look at everything. Them boys from over there, they hitters, boy. You got to really look at everybody that played a role in this. Blac Youngsta is involved in a lot that's going on. Before we even jump into this, I would like to let everybody know that this is something that everybody can really, you can look at this for what it is. Blac Youngsta was the main name who popped up in the indictment. But if you're new to the channel, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and then we're going to jump right into this. I want everybody to look at this, man. The feds is stating that the way that Blac Youngsta face was on the camera, you have to understand that if the camera pan and zoom, regardless of what angle that is pointed at, just like the investigators say, it's going to get a full description of everybody that was there. And everybody who was there fit the description of Blac Youngsta, Cornelius Smith, Straight Drop. And they already got Big Jip truck, which is supposedly Moneybagg Yo's baby mama's truck.
Exactly, and when they searched up Blac Youngsta name, the facial recognition instantly linked his profile from the 100 shots, and that's how they knew it was the same person, because there's not two Blac Youngstas, there's only one Blac Youngsta. And when you really look at it, since he left CMG, he walked on his own. Nobody had to fire him because there was already pressure applied to get him released. But when he walked on his own, he went back to Heavy Camp. Folks did their own research on Heavy Camp and found out it's Blac Youngsta's the only person in Heavy Camp. And so it make no sense. That's why we already knew that the only reason he would put the Heavy Camp chains back on, even though Heavy Camp don't have a CEO, the only reason he would put the chains back on is if he was already hiding from the CMG indictments.
And we know for a fact that from what they said, Memphis, Airways, Hollins, Hollywood Boulevard, y'all really got to look at everything. Them boys from over there, they hit us, boy. You got to really look at everybody that played a role in this, because Gucci Mane already said that Big 30, he playing both sides. Big 30, and I'm not going to even look at Big 30 different after this. But from what the reports are stating, Big 30, he playing both sides. He was messing with PRE and CMG, and RP to Big Scar, because we know for a fact that Big Scar had a PRE and a CMG 1017 chain. So this is something that we all know for a fact. It was just a Memphis thing when Big Scar jumped out there and he realized, put his neck out there and did what he did. But we know for a fact that Young Dolph, he was in that cookie shop. They said they got the full on-court video of Young Dolph walking in the shop, and when they said they're going to release it Monday. And I want everybody to know that this is something that we know for a fact. This is why Moneybagg Yo even got into the jam to the point where he sat there and watched them people do what they did. Like, y'all got to understand, man. It's no coincidence that they even mistakenly said that was Moneybagg Yo baby mama truck. We know for a fact the previous beef that Moneybagg Yo and Young Dolph had, the previous dispute that led Moneybagg Yo to falling back from Young Dolph. But Young Dolph, he kept going because Big Moochie Grape, he knew that Snoop Bands had his back. And this is something that we all can really take heed to.
Exactly, because Moneybagg Yo thought that Dolph or somebody from PRE was going to get on Ari just the same way that they got on Moneybagg Yo baby mama, but he forgot that they were the ones that was choosing. So it's nobody in PRE's fault. Key Glock don't want to have nothing to do with that because he just got a platinum hit, and so he's sitting back comfy right now. He slippers on and everything like that. And so when he turned the TV on with his bathrobe and seen that the feds was arranging and releasing Blac Youngsta and everything like that, his jaw dropped. He dropped his coffee and everything because it's early in the morning. He knows that to avoid all of the people and all of the folks who's looking for him, you got to understand, OG Bang Wayne is still out there and everything. So they got to duck themselves. When he told Snoop Bands not to come outside because he already seen the big Suburban, blacked out and everything with 10 feds in it and everything. No seats, all tactical people. And so when he seen that van with the back seats ripped out, that's when he already made the call to Big Moochie Gray. Don't go outside today because they either going to be releasing the surveillance, so a lot of people going to be outside protesting, or it's going to be where they sweep CMG. And if they swept CMG, then you know Blac Youngsta is going to run. And the first place he's going to go to is to look at either one of them, because that's his last move, is to see them about that.
So we can all really look at this and really take heed to everything that's going on, because in all actual reality, I want y'all to really pay attention to what's going on. So, in all actual reality, we know for a fact that they sprayed the shop. That's why all them hoes was in the front. That's why Kiyosha and them saw all them dudes hop out that black truck and hop out that white car. And everybody know for a fact that when they walked up to see young Dolph, his arm was laying out the window and they knew his watch wasn't on his wrist. This goes to show that the paramedics was the one who saw everybody who was in the shop. And then next thing you know, 3 people was missing at the shop. Now his watch gone. I want y'all to really look at what's going on, man, and take full initiative to this. It can happen to anybody. It's senseless violence. We know for a fact that Key Glock not going, man. Key Glock already told Big Moochie Grape and Snoop Bands they gonna have to mask up sooner or later, sooner than they think, because they need to know why did they run down on Dolph and instantly send bro up like that. Only person that could even get up with you and be able to bag you or take anything from you is the people that you're around. This is how young Dolph location was dropped. From what the reports and the examiner statements are reading, they said that Big Jook was the main one that FaceTimed Yo Gotti, and Yo Gotti pulled up right before it happened. Next thing you know, Yo Gotti pulled right off, right before Cornelius Smith and Straight Drop hopped out the white Mercedes. The Bentley truck was still across the street. They got it on the footage. If y'all really think that for 1 second that Marcus Thornton didn't see them, he saw them, but he really couldn't react quick enough because their back was turned, man. When you go out in public, man, make sure your back is not turned and make sure you're not on your phone. You have to be on your P's and Q's and watch your surroundings regardless of what's going on, man. This is a revolving door, and it's sad that this had to happen, but unfortunately, we know for a fact Mia J, she not playing no games because she's getting justice for Dolph. We saw Maurice Hill talking to the police. We saw when he instantly told them people, boy, MPD, he told them, yeah, it was a white car that pulled off in the Bentley truck and went the other way down Airways Street. I want y'all to understand, Hollins and Hollywood Boulevard, man, this is where they caught Straight Dropping them at, man. Y'all got to really understand what's going on because we know for a fact, man, if you rocking with Dolph, man, you got to let me know. Throw them Dolphins down in the comment section. If you rocking with CMG, let me know if you rocking with CMG because it was all a mishaps. This one never supposed to go down like that because it was a transaction going wrong. Moneybagg Yo tried to squash the beef a long time ago. I know a lot of people sit back and they look at this like, why would Moneybagg Yo put himself in a predicament which would lead him to jeopardizing his whole label, BGE? I want you guys to know that Moneybagg Yo is fully aware of the Rico that's going around, and he didn't conspire to do anything, but the people under his label did. I want you guys to really pay attention to what's going on because everybody know in all actual reality, Key Glock was with him. Like Key Glock was riding with him. Moneybagg Yo has been hospitalized. Subscribe for updates.